gaming nerd here, and I just thought I'd do a quick story time about how I learned to drive and passing my test as well. So basically, start at the beginning. I started driving in March 2016, and I recently passed my test on the 20th of February 2017. And basically, it was a long journey, but it was cool. So, learning to drive, I did actually have a bit of a breakdown mentally because I had so much going on. But I think if you ever get to that point where you're just struggling and you feel like you're going to fail, you just need to continue. Because it feels so rewarding when you do pass your test. And looking back at that breakdown now, it would have been so easy to give up. But looking back and seeing how much I improved after that is just crazy. And after your test, you feel like a massive weight has been lifted off your shoulders. But at the same time, it's really anticlimactic because there's been such a build-up until your driving test. And then suddenly, all of it has gone. And it's the weirdest feeling. Like, you're so happy that you have passed. But then it feels like everything's just done with. There is nothing more to do. And it's really odd. And it's weird to think that you can finally drive. When I got to the test centre, I was so nervous. And the one I went to, which is in Pinner, it's not near where I live before any of you guys freak out. But basically, like, there was a toilet there, and there was a car park, which apparently isn't common. I don't know. But you didn't have to go anywhere to say, like, I'm here. You just sat down with your instructor, and they would come out and call your name. And as soon as they came out and called your name, they would ask for your license, and fine. And then they ask you to sign if you've got to say that you've got insurance. And then after that point, when they've made sure everything's right, they'll go outside, and you have to do this test where you can read, to make sure you can read a license plate. And I can't remember how far it is in front of you. It's like 200 meters or 100 meters. I could be horribly wrong, but basically you've got to make sure that you can read the license plate of a car that's in front of you. And if you can, fine. I don't know what happens if you can't read it, but yeah, we went in. We finished that bit, and then we got in the car. He was like, right, I'm your instructor, this is my name, what can I call you? And he was really nice. Well, if I'm honest, I didn't know how to think of him because I thought he was going to be rude, but during the test, he actually kept talking to me. So he was like, so what are you doing now? And I'd tell him that I'm doing A-levels, and then he was like, all right, and he'd stop talking for a while. And then a little bit later, I think, when he saw that I was getting nervous, he would bring up another thing. So it's like, oh, what are you doing at, like, college or whatever then? And I would tell him, and later on he would then be like, oh, so what are you doing for photography, or what do you want to do when you're older? So it made it nicer to think that it wasn't so much of a test, so he could actually see how you would drive rather than what you drive like on the day, if that makes sense. If not, comment down below and I can explain. But then you do one maneuver, I believe, and you have to do 2 show me, tell me questions. So mine was show me how to do the window washer and tell me what you have to check for on your tyres. And it was like, you have to check the tyre depth is no less than 1.6 millimeters, and you've got to make sure that there's no bulges and cuts and stuff, and that's fine. But sometimes they can ask you ones about the under the bonnet, and the maneuver that I had to do was, I think it wasn't reversing around the corner. I think it was parallel park. Yeah, it was. But you can do parallel park, 3-point turn, or reversing around a corner. But apparently they might be doing a new driving test, so I don't know when that's coming to effect or how it will change. But apparently a new one is like you have to learn to park on the right, which you're not meant to do. So I don't know. Okay, so basically, apart from that, I've had a lot of dickheads in my... Actually, no, I will tell you one more thing first. When you pass your test, if you're going out in the week that you pass, make sure you ask for your provisional back, unless you want to use your passport, because at the end of my test, they asked if I wanted to keep my provisional license, because they can take it from you so that they can, like, send you out your new one. And I said yeah, and then forgot I was going to go to a club the following week. Fun. But they send you one out in like 20 to 30, no, yeah, about 20 working days. And then on the day you actually get a blue certificate. That's probably it's A4 size, and it has massive letters saying about you passing your driving test, and it makes you really happy. And you get told about your minor faults. You can have your instructor there, and you can have your instructor in the car, but I opted not to have my instructor in the car, but for my instructor to hear my results. And I got 6 minor faults, which is good, because the maximum you're allowed is 15, or 3 of one thing. So, for example, your acceleration, you're allowed 3 minor faults, but then after that they'll stop marking and you fail your test. But they won't tell you as you're driving. So if you forget to check your mirrors, or if you forget to indicate and you do it more than 3 times, they can fail you. Or if you crash into someone, then you get a major fault, sorry. So, yeah. Right, what else? I've got my list here. So, driving experiences. Basically, I've learned that even though you've got a massive sign saying that you're a learner and it's dotted around the car, people aren't always nice to you. Like, I've been driving at the speed limit and I've had people beep me and try and overtake, but speeding overtake. And there was one time really early on that I was driving and I just crossed these traffic lights, and I think that I was going too much to the left, and then this car just went straight around me, and if I didn't stop when I did, I probably would have crashed into him because he was being a knob. And then there was this other time, really close to my exam. It was quite funny because we were talking about the emergency brake that you sometimes have to do on your test. You don't do it in all of them, I didn't. But basically, I was just asking about when I would have to practice the emergency brake, and my examiner was like, no, my testing teacher person, was like, instructor, that's the word. He was like, oh, we'll do it like this day, which was like a few days later. And as we came onto this roundabout, there was nothing to my right. So I went onto the roundabout, and suddenly this little mare from the left just darted across the roundabout, and I was just like, ah! And braked suddenly, and then my instructor just went, wait a sec, and just beeped my horn. I was just like, ah! My instructor was like, you don't beep your horn, only I do, okay? And I was just like, at least I don't have to practice my emergency brake now. And then, yeah, you can get really nice people, or you can just get absolute divs. Sometimes it's like, I came out of this junction, nothing was on my right, so it was fine, and I was turning right. I checked to my left, and there was this car that was parked on the side of the road, so I started pulling out, and this little shit of a car that was parked on the side started going forward ever so slowly, so then I had to suddenly stop. That car suddenly stopped, and I looked at him like, what are you doing? So he was just there like, so I was like, okay, I'll keep going then. And then that car just started following me. And then it went off later, but it was just like, why did you wait till I was going before you went? I don't understand people. I really don't. So basically that's my story. And if there's any more questions, if there's any questions you guys have, just comment down below, give me a like, and subscribe for more stuff. If you've got any games that you want me to play, just give me a shout out, because I've got an Xbox One and a Wii and PlayStation 1 and 2, but I need to figure out how to video them. And I've got a 3DS as well. But yeah, I need to figure out how to video them, but I can video my Xbox 360. And I might see if I can do Twitch. That would be quite cool. But, yeah. Okay. So, see you guys later.